Hey, good morning, everybody. Bob, Trade Genius, the 31st of May, and what a difference a tweet makes. And if people think this is just some irrational act by President Trump, they just simply don't understand what's taking place in the world, and that what's happening in America is not an isolated event. We have for 100 years we've had this experiment that America has been knee deep in terms of creating a global kind of governance and a supranational, control by unelected people, and it's reached its zenith here. And with the election of President Trump, he kind of unclogged it all, and you're seeing it in Italy, you're seeing it in England, you're seeing it in Australia, and the United States is obviously, because that's where I'm from, I see it the most. And it's not going to stop. America, quite frankly, has no choice. You can't run these massive deficits of trade if you have any hope of taking control back of your budget and your finances. And so you're going to see this continue. These tariffs are not going to go away unless there is some fundamental structural reform in Mexico and China, and they're unwilling or unable to do so. So we're going to get price parity forced a different way. Whether people like it or not, it's irrelevant. It's going to happen. And the United States government is going to get used to these tariff taxes, and they're not going to give them away. And you're going to see more of it. You're going to probably see a less interventionist United States too. I think the last of the war hawks are going to be purged on this next, and Trump is dismantling this thing one step at a time. He's really taking control back of the central banking, taking control back of our border, and he'll take control back of our military policy too. Trump's not a big war guy, so, and as a military officer myself, I'm more in the camp of isolation than intervention, and I think that we spend way too much time involved in other people's business, and I think a lot of American people believe that too. And some of that some of that money spent in the Pentagon will have to be reshifted back to domestic spending. Whether you're uber conservative or uber leftist, that's going to happen too. So I'm not being political, I'm just being factual. You're going to see it happen. And then you're going to see the trading go back into blocks. And I talked about this last week, that you're going to see a, a coalition now, looks like it's forming, of the English speaking world to confront China, and in some ways to confront Europe. So it's just going to be really fascinating to watch. And for everybody that's wringing their hands in the United States about uncontrolled inflation because of this, trade's only 14% of our GDP. So it's going to be a lot more painful for China and for Europe than it's going to be for the United States. But that 14% represented massive losses and devastation in middle America. And some of those jobs will come back. And you're going to see basically a resurgence in manufacturing, and you're going to see infrastructure coming as well. So that's my monologue. Now I'm going to talk to you about the markets. This was bound to happen. I was showing this thing for weeks now. Here's the inverted head and shoulders on gold, and now we're pushing up. It was impossible for them to break this channel, and they tried. Massive short contracts have been put on in the fake gold market, and that's getting unwound now too. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing shoot up now to here, and then we get to 1500. And just keep an eye on that. And then here's a miner that's just been grinded to death, and which is just amazing to me. I own this one, and I've been buying all the way down, and have been waiting for this reprieve. You know, this is a profitable company that pays a dividend, and they took this thing down 35%, ostensibly on the, you know, the gold prices are going lower mantra. So now we had a nice pop here, but we've had these before. And so, see, here's the last five. Well, last four, this is the fifth. And now we have to kind of break out of this lower high, lower low scheme here, so that we can move up higher. So just keep an eye on that. And the other miners are starting to get some traction too. Yesterday, we saw First Majestic pop, Mag Silver pop. I got to see now with the peso coming down so hard what the impact is going to be on those companies. But any U.S. backed gold producer is going to probably do pretty well here. And then if you look at, see where else was I going to go here? There is, oh yeah, here. I talked about this yesterday too. This is the fulcrum. And I said we're going to watch to see if this is going to be a bear flag, and it ended up being one, and now it's pushed down through. We got to look at this area right here, or right here. So 27-26 area is the area that I'd be watching next. And then after that, we're going to come down into here. There's a gap fill at 27-11 area, I'm told. And then we'll probably come down to here, and then here's the magic channel line right here, unless the purple line becomes a magnet again. So we'll have to see, but this looks pretty darn controlled to me. That's why I just said, if this thing isn't planned, I don't know what is. Look, here's an A move, here's a B move, here's a C move, broke the fulcrum. Now we'll see if we dump. It gets disorderly. June 13th is the Fed meeting. Voila. They start talking dovish, and then they start their rate cutting cycle later in the year. So anyway, those are my views for today. Thanks for listening, and things that we're buying should start moving up higher quite nicely, and I'll be looking to see if there's other miners for us to jump on. We have 3 or 4 already. Bye bye.